Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the channel. As I have announced yesterday that I will not solve, I will be doing one thing that I will be showing I will be just revising the Python. Let's say we will be starting from some basic thing, like highly basic, to a bit more advanced topics in Python. As I have told you, I have made the video. I am making this video right now. Meanwhile, after this video is getting uploaded, in the second half, we will be back to the same where we will be solving the question in SQL and pandas method. And at the night, we will be solving a data set problem like we have discussed yesterday. So this is the which is simultaneously I'm working on this part also to make it ready for all of you. Yeah, no, this is the data set which I was talking about. So today evening, this video will be uploaded. Next to the night, this video will be uploaded. Like how an analyst works on a data set, everything I will be doing solving this query one by one. We will be doing it today. So this video which I am you are observing right now, I have written it as basic to advanced. So in this video, it is basically a revision where I will be covering and telling different topics in pandas, discussing different topics in pandas, plus the original Python code. We will be also seeing some part of NumPy if the time permits. Further moving ahead, this is the basic thing which we are solving because from today onwards, as we are going to deep dive into the data set problems, that will be hardcore pandas. So we often need some of the feature like let's say loop or some functions. So this kind of like listing. So this kind of thing we often need actually in a data set. That is why we are just revising everything from the beginning itself so that it will be in our hand. So I will make this video for them also who want to learn pandas so that they will also have an idea how the things work in the pandas. So firstly, what is this? This is a collab notebook, and secondly, here are some editor option like this here. So that's also here. So because of this, you can like check your code if it is wrong or right. Some Collab Pro option is here. GitHub option is here. So GitHub is basically the hub where we write the code plus we store our code as a project. Then different features are there like you can convert from light, deep, dark, everything. This part is there. So you can explore it from here. Uh, Generally, we just open this by writing Google Colab in the Google and then this thing opens. Okay, so I think this is enough. If you want more, then you can easily visit. So I will be straightly moving on to the main part of today's discussion. So it is Python. So in Python, what we will be observing today is let's make a list of what we can see today. So one part is basic, one will and while loop. One more which we can see is mm, list, strings, tuples, maybe dictionary also I will give a touch. Just add dicts. And fourth may we can pandas and cover 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 pandas and the people who are with me from the beginning of this journey, they already know pandas like how we are solving the questions and all. So I will not touch pandas, but these are some basic things, but highly essential thing in point of interview perspective also. So we will be covering this as our main thing today. So anyone who is observing the video from the starting, like they want to study Python, so they can also be the part of this video. They will enjoy thoroughly. So how to start this? So you remember, like in different languages, there is a often this thing you always see, hello world, right? So hello world is something that is the first code of every coder in any language wherever they go. So I am saying that how will I write this in pandas? Like I want to print hello world. How will I print? So in Python, so how will I print? So there is an option called print option where you just do hello world and it's printed, right? If I simply write hello world now, just ignore the spelling, what will happen? It gives me an error saying this. Now let's fix the error. What's the error? Okay, it's showing the spelling is the error. Let's run. Invalid syntax. Now what's the invalid syntax? So you can see that it will be always showing you the means the invalid syntax, right? Now if I this semicolon, so it will print me this way, hello world. Why? What's the difference between this hello world and this hello world? So yes, I have told you, like I will be going with thorough basic to the advanced level so that the concept will be also getting frequently clear. So what's the difference between this hello world and this hello world? Actually, 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 the whole part, like hello world, as you are seeing here, this is the output that a user is going to get, right? But actually it is present in this, that is where the user is going to get this thing. If I put simply hello world, it will always show me an error because these are word, means what is strings are generally the letters of the alphabet, so that is known as string. So it will always show me the error. If I just, 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 if I just say 2.0 means 0, it will show me that. The point is 2 is a integer, 2 float, 0 is an float. So this condition is only invalid for the string part. Why it is invalid for the string part, this also I will clear today in the while we are moving ahead. Just you can observe this small thing, right? Now we will be proceeding ahead with some of the basic things, like let's say uh, yeah, there is a thing called input. Okay, so what will this do? N equals to int input and uh, print n. So this give me a option like what you want as your input. So just see here, I have written here int. So int is what? Integer type. But what if I write w here? It show me an error because w is a string. Now let's run again. What if I write 2.00 here? It show me error again because 2.00 itself is a float number. It is an integer, but for our coding language, it is known as the float basis number. And if I just write 2, it works. You can see the output. The first is the asked type, second is the print type. So the point is There are three main things: strings, integer, and float. With this, we generally work. Like the general process of working is of the numbers and all are with integers and float. While string is one of the essential part of the coding. Like it often comes in a data set. For example, if you see our original data set which we will be solving today, you cannot see any database column here. Everything is in the format of string. So this is why this three only I am choosing right now because they are highly essential today. One more part is Boolean. So Boolean also we will be covering in couple of minutes later. Uh, Fine. So this is what I wanted to give a basic understanding. Here the three main things you can keep in the mind: string, integer, and float. String are all the alphabets forming into a letter or a sentence. Integer are just the number without any decimal point. Floats are the number with the decimal points. So this part is done. Now, what if someone asks you a question that uh, ask the user to give an input of mm, of their choice, but restrain it to numbers and exclude decimal and strings. So here in this question, I am saying that let's say you guys are my users. So I am giving you this code, and what I want is I want to see the output which is of your choice. So in those cases, what we do is let's say user equals to I use a integer because I need to restrain everything to my int numbers only. And this option I give input a number, right? Then what will I do? I'll just write user and I'll run this. See here. So enter a number is the thing which we have written in our string format. So it will always be visible. If I just remove this thing, what will happen? You see, error because I am simply I'm just giving the null string over here. Now let's see. It will just show you this way. So to make the code beautiful, we can just write give the number of your choice. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, so now this is what it will show. Now let's say I am writing here 100. 100 is a number, you all agree. 100.00 or anything. 100 point some number is a decimal base number which is known as float. We have discussed it above. And if any words come, it is string. So I just publish this way, like run this way. So give the number of your choice. You see here is something which is not looking good. So what I can do is I will edit the up thing and I put a space here. Like let's say I have given two spaces. Now you see, great. So this is what you can also do. Simple it is. So this is what is the basic level of the Python for the string format. Now if you do simply do it is also a kind of calculator. If you just simply do 2 plus 3, it give you 5. If you do 2 into 3, it also give you the result. So you can also use thing like it is a calculator for the numbers. Anything you write, you will get the result. But yeah, for squaring and all, you have some codes, sqrt. So It is limited, not a whole calculator, I will say. Okay, so now, sorry, so now let's head this thing as basic, right? And let's give another heading as loops. Great. And I hope basic is that much enough. Like it is very basic, and any one of you can do that. If you have heard me for last 15 minutes, easily you can just do it thoroughly. It's not a big deal for anyone. Now we will move to one more part, little higher version of Python. Um, let's say it is an intermediate label. So here we are working with the loops now. So for the loops, there are two loops, two types of loop. Any coding language have two types of loop only, while loop and for. What's the major difference between while and for? While true. Okay. So this is a condition. It is always valid in while loop. Also, I can write the same condition as, okay, you see, when I put a semicolon, it comes this way. So it goes to the infinity now, and it will be just running to the infinity. So the main problem of the while loop is if you do a small mistake, either it will go for an error or for going, it will go for an infinity. How do I stop this? You can see, right? It is going to the infinity, like it is continuously running now. I'll stop this first. Yeah. So this has become my infinite loop, right? And I will just delete this part because it is taking a lot of space from my notebook. So I just delete that part. So generally while loop is something that you can use, but most probably we people prefer, like for example, I prefer the for loop. Any loop is basically just looping. The code will run, and then again it will come back to the first, then it will go to the result, then it will come to the first. That is known as loop. The number 8 you can consider it as a loop, 0 you can consider it as a loop. You start from something, you end on the same thing itself, right? So I will be directly jumping to the for loop now, because uh, for loop is something that is useful for analysis kind of stuff. So in for loop, mm, let's take one example and solve the question. Okay. Uh, let's say a equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Now here you can see I have a sequence of the number starting from 1 to 9. Now if I ask you, and this question which I'm going to solve right now will also solve your one of the confusion, that why do we need the loops at all, like why it is essential. Now if the client asks you, okay, guy, give me the number that are even numbers, so what will you do? Because you have a very small series, simply you can just write manually, right? 2, 4, 6 and 8. These are your even numbers. All of us agree this. But what happen if the range goes from let's say 1 to 1 lakh. Now you tell me, is it possible for you even to do it manually? So here you need some kind of smart work. So for that smart work, we use a loop. The same question can be solved using while loop. Same question can be solved using for loop. Now, let's take this question. Let's actually take this question and solve it using the loop. So, I have my A. A is a sequence of the number. So now I want to extract the even number. How will I do that? So I write a code for I in A. Okay. I put a condition. If I modulus 2 equals to 0, print I. Now I will run this. My A is not defined, it says. No problem. I put the A here. You see, you get all the even numbers at the time 2, 4, 6, 8. So with this logic, you can build the higher version of for loops. And generally we use the loop for this purpose only, to solve this kind of stuff only, because we cannot do it manually, so we have to use these things, right? Now let's modify this question. Okay, now what I am doing is I have covered the loops part also very in a very light manner. I have told why do we use loops, and I showed a very small example of using the loops. Now what I will do is I will be doing something called combination part. I will be doing now. What will happen now is I will use the for loop for the list and the string, and then we will be solving the questions also. So let's say you are seeing this part, right? A equals to this thing. So I told this is a series of the number 1 to 9, but since it is having this square bracket, I will call it as a list. Okay. Now, if those numbers were having this kind of upper call, like I will say the semicolon on them, I would call them as strings. Understood this? So this is the key difference between the list and the strings. List is something that can store the strings as well, because any number, now if I just show you this is, let's 1 second. So this is one is a number, you all agree. Now this with a semicolon, like one with a semicolon, is not our string. If you want to recheck this, let me show you in the basic part itself. Since we have created this code, where is that code? Yeah, this code, right? So since we have created this kind of code, if I write 1, it gives me 1. But what if I write 1? You see, invalid literal for int with the base 10. It's wrong, because I have always told you that whenever the number, its string is not just the words, I will say. Anything which is present in this kind of format is known as string. Generally, we say string are the word, but anything that is present in this kind of format is known as a string, because that format is actually a string format. So this is done. Okay, now let's take some questions. Uh, so list is something which I told you. It is bit clear, I think. We will be moving more further deeper in the list also, not an issue. But we will solve some of the question in for loop first, then we will go a bit deeper in the list and strings also. Okay, so let's take a question. Let's say we have to store the even number and odd number in different lists. This is the question. And let's say I have my this part a equals to this thing. Okay, so From here, I will create one thing called odd, and odd will store my all the odd number. I will create another thing called even. Even should store my all the even number. Okay. Now what I will do the same loop for I in A. If I modulus 2 equals to 0, then even. Okay. So before storing, I will say, like, as we are moving into the list, it is my work to give you a small uh, brief on the list also. And let's create another heading called list. Okay. So uh, we have this A equals to this thing, right? Um the list is something that is always mutable. Mutable means it is always like you can change the value, you can add the value, anything is possible in list. For example, I have another list b equals to uh, let's say 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Now what if I write a plus b? You see what is happening. It is actually not adding the value. It is creating one more list. And this list itself is having 1 to 9, and then it is reverting back from 9 to 1. So this is how the concept of the list works. So this is the major concept of the list. Now, what if I give you another option? Let's take the same. I put a function called append. Okay. And I put append as 10. What happened? Let's run A. You see, you can see nothing, like means nothing happened, because it's now let me give this as a alias name C. Hmm? I run it as C. You see, this is getting shown here. Why? Because there is no meaning of this code append dot 10. But if I do this thing now, dot append of 5, what will happen? See. You see at the last part, this part, what happened? Another number is getting added. 5 is getting added actually. So this is one part of the list, like why it, like how the append works. And the same thing we can actually put back into the code. You understood, right? Append work is actually to add the thing. Now if I want to remove that, remove 5. You see what happened? 1, 2, 3, 5 is not there. 8, 9, then again from 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 is not there. 3, 2, 1, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. All the 5 are here. So this is how it actually takes the 5 away from the main series. Now if I want the max value in the series, I put the function called max, c dot max. See here, it will not work. Why? Why? Because max is something that works with the numpy thing. And we will see this also, like how it works actually, how to make this thing work. We will see it in some time, right? If you want the minimum min, it will also not work. Why it is not working? So we will see this part also now. Now, this is what is the major function of the this our what is that append and remove. Now, if I want to completely extract the part called 5, okay, let's see. I use a function called pop. So what pop do is it will see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's run the C part. You see here it's the same thing. So pop is something that just takes the thing out. And if you see in this way also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is how the pop works. In the list, there is another option also where you can play with the index. Let's say I want to append 100. Okay, I want to append 100. I will also write this. I want to append 100 at the beginning. How will you do? Simple it is, you will use another option called insert, and you see. So using the insert function, here you are giving the name, means something which you want to append with the index value. So in Python, the first number will always come with the index value. Means from every number is having its own index, but the index will start from 0. So you can see that number 100 is at the first. So genuinely this should be number 1. 1 should be 2. 2 should be 3. But according to the index, 100 is at the 0th position. 1 is at the first position and then till the end. So this is one more like most important function I will not say, but generally we use. We generally use if it is required. But with append actually many people will use. Now, as I have given you a basic of list, now I will be going back to my this part. So in this part, I have created a two list, blank list I will say, odd and even. Now, for I in A, I have created that if I modulus 2 means if any number divided by 2 whose output will be 0. Modulus means like see, one is division, one is modulus. Let's say 1 by 2. What is the output? It is never going to be 0, right? Means at a time. But if you say 2 by 2, so the remainder is 0. So this is the key difference between modulus and our division part. So if I say I modulus 2 equals to 0, then even dot I need to store now. How will I store? Dot append I. Similarly, for the odd number, I will say or dot append I, and I have used the simple thing here if and else statement, which you also use in your Excel, right? So now I just run this and we will see what is our odd thing. You see all the odd numbers from A. You see even, you want to see even, you see even also now. All the even values from A. So it is quite simple. The same thing you can do with your strings as well. Now, okay, let's take a break. And what will I do is this is already about 34 minutes, right? So we will keep the session till here now. We will be naming this as part 1, basic to advanced. In the part 2, what we will do is we will start from the strings, means for loop with the string, and then we will be solving list question. So list, I will be having list 1, list slicing, and then I will go with list 2D. Just ignore the errors. So this three part we have to cover in list 1D, list slicing, and list 2D. So two dimensional list. So this kind of concept we will be covering in the next video. So let's take a pause now. It is already of 35 minutes long. So I am going to create 3 to 4 parts of this so that easily anyone can understand. Till that, whoever is watching this video, they can have a practice on this. They can actually solve this type of questions easily available in different thing, and also you can build the question by yourself and you can solve it. It is further good, I will say. So in the next video, we will be starting the for loop, and we will take a question where the numbers will be not there. Here it will be strings. Like let's say count the number of words. So this kind of question we will be taking. So till that, let's have a break and uh, let's start with the second video. Now within some time I will start with the second video also, not an issue. So till then you can enjoy this video, and if hopefully you have learned something, please do like and subscribe and comment if you have any query also. Thank you. Have a